So just before the exam, be it AIPGT/UPSC, we need to do tons of revisions. And given that the syllabus is so massive, we have to be super efficient, super productive at it. Otherwise, we would end up leaving certain portions, and that might create problem and could really mess our final exam. So in this video, I'm gonna tell you some very effective study techniques with few scientific facts related to it to make the process of revision a hell lot easier for you. And we are gonna start right now. Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Taha Khan. Welcome to my YouTube channel where I share with you clinic and exam related productivity tips and strategies. If this is your first time here, start now by subscribing and hit the bell icon so that you don't miss anything. About 7,000 students have appeared in AIPGT this year, and out of these 7,000, only the top few hundred students have gotten admission into MD. Now, do you think there is any difference in the knowledge of the student who has ranked 1 compared to the knowledge of the student who has ranked 500? Both of them are equally well prepared and equally knowledgeable on the subjects, and I can say this with pretty accuracy because I am in touch with both these category of students around the year. Yet rank 1 would get admission into MD and rank 500 wouldn't. And if you ask the student who couldn't get admission into MD just for few marks or rank, what was your lacking, then they will always say that it was due to lack of adequate revisions. So let me first talk to you about the parallel revision and the science behind it. The name is self-explanatory, which means that your study and your revision go together hand in hand. Basically, you don't wait to complete your entire subject or topic to start your revision. Instead, you start your revision even though you have reached halfway through the topic. Now, this technique is in contrast to cramming, which most of us have done in our undergrads. But that is okay for the undergrads because back then we needed to revise just one subject and give a test on it the next day. So when you cram for a test the next day, you can probably remember a lot of it because it gets stored in your short-term memory. But if asked to recall after about a week, you would have already forgotten 70% of it. So cramming is not an ideal method of learning if you want to retain things for longer duration. And this is because of something called the forgetting curve. This curve basically shows how our mind begins to lose information over time. Once we study something, we create a primary memory. And after that, the curve begins to slope down exponentially over time. But the fun part begins if we try to interrupt the curve. Whenever we interrupt the curve, the slope flattens and it takes longer to forget something. Say today we study anatomy of the upper limb and have solved all MCQs related to it. But after 5 to 6 days, we would forget 50% of it. So what we do instead is we revise everything on upper limb again on day 3. So now we would only forget 25% of upper limb, and in between these days we can study new topics. So this way, if we space our revision pattern, say day 3, then day 7, day 14, day 28, and once every month thereafter, we are more likely to remember upper limb forever. And this is because we have encoded this chapter into our long-term memory. And it's very difficult for our brain to erase information from long-term memory. The other benefit of it is that the more we do it, the quicker we will get at it. Initially, it may take us a day to revise entire upper limb, but when we have revised it for 3 to 4 times, then we can complete it in just few hours, and this will prove extremely useful just before the final exam when we have 5.5 years of syllabus to be completed in a single day. So it is important to follow this revision pattern from the start itself. Start this parallel revision technique and you will thank me later. The next important study as well as revision technique is to summarize. I personally adopted this technique and I found it to be very useful. What we do here is whenever we study a topic, let's say upper limb again, we are gonna summarize it. We are gonna compress all the informations on upper limb that we have gathered from textbooks, MCQ books or study materials into just few pages, and we are gonna do this by active recall. Suppose we have studied upper limb the entire day, so at the end of the day, we are gonna close our books and summarize whatever we can remember about upper limb from our study, and we are going to do this in a very precise manner. Remember in our school days we had prezi writings where we were given few paragraphs and we had to condense the entire thing in just few words. We are gonna do exactly that, just smarter. We are gonna convert sentences into keywords. Few things that we can use for summarizing. Number one is flowcharts. Instead of writing paragraphs, we can make a flowchart pattern and connect information. This is a very smart way to condense things. Number two are pictures. Wonderful way to consolidate many data into a single photo, like I have done in this photo of a fetal skull. So many MCQs can be solved by just going through this photo. Number three, mnemonics. Very useful in remembering syndromes, symptoms, and these kind of data. Then tables, stories, or whatever way we can think of for summarizing. And this will get extremely useful when revising later because we have gathered everything about a topic in a single place. So when we revise later, we don't have to again go through textbooks, MCQ books, study materials, and study in bits and pieces here and there. The next important thing that we need to do is attach credibility to our study plan. That means making ourselves accountable for the things that we are gonna do. Now, how do we do that? Suppose you have planned your entire week. Say on day 1, you're gonna study anatomy upper limb. Then on day 2, repertory. Then on day 3, again revision of anatomy upper limb plus surgery thyroid, then something on day 4 and so on. So it's very nice that we have planned our study, but we need to also make sure that we stick to the plan and execute it properly. So what we can do is we share this plan with a bunch of people like our friends or our parents or our teacher or anyone we think who can make us accountable in case we aren't following. Like suppose if I plan to upload a YouTube video on a particular date, then I email few of my friends mentioning that I will be uploading so and so video title on YouTube on so and so date. Or more so, if I just post it on Facebook, YouTube, Insta and everywhere that hello friends, I will be uploading a YouTube video next week. The title of the video is this and this. Then I have made myself accountable for the video that I will be making. And since I have bragged about it to everyone and everywhere, so I will definitely stick to the plan and I will make sure that the video is ready to be released next week. Same thing we can apply to our preparation as well. Now what I used to do while I was preparing was I had a friend. Every night before finishing our day, we used to discuss the things that we are going to study the next day. The subjects that we are going to study, the topics, everything we used to discuss. We used to plan our next day the night before, what we are going to study. So the next day, what I used to do, I used to make sure that I complete those portions because I was in constant fear कि if I don't complete, my friend will complete. अगर मैं ये complete नहीं किया आज ये topic अगर रह गया मेरा तो मेरे friend का वो complete कर लेगा. Okay, so in this fear, I used to complete everything and in same fear, my friend also used to complete everything because उसे भी ये डर था कि अगर वो complete नहीं करा तो मेरा ये topic complete हो जाएगा and वो पीछे रह जाएगा. So इस तरह से हम लोगों ने सारा सिलेबस कई बार कंप्लीट कर लिया था. Next important thing is the time of revision. So whenever you are revising stuff, my recommendation is to do it in a non-prime time. Like revision is not something to be done first thing in the morning, or it is not something to start your day with. Because early in the morning, when you are starting your day, your mind is fresh and active. So feed it with the difficult things like studying new things, new topics, because revision is comparatively easy. And it can be done at a later part of the day towards evening when you do not need much brain power. Also, make use of the biological clock. You know, everyone has our own biological clock when our brain is most active. So we do not want to utilize the most active time of our day when our brain is most powerful for revisions. Revisions can be done even when our brain is less active, is a bit of tired, or is working at 50% or even less capacity. So if we can find our biological clock timings, because it differs from person to person, we can plan our study very smartly and get highly productive at it. Okay, so these were few of the things that I wanted to talk about revisions and study for the exam. Apply these techniques to your study and hopefully you will be able to study more productively and efficiently. Let me know how you like the video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, share it with your friends, and I will see you in the next